Hi guys, welcome to the latest podcast of YarninBlak. Before I start, I'd like to acknowledge the traditional custodians of the land that I'm currently calling in from. I'm here in Barbican on the land of the Gurindji people, and I'd like to pay respect to their elders past, present, and to the future young people that are coming through who are going to be our leaders and our warriors of the future. Now, today I've got a really great guest on, and I'm not even going to introduce them. I'm going to get them to introduce themselves. Some of you might recognize them up front, or sometimes you may not, because they could be a different person as well. But I will actually get them to introduce themselves. So who are you? Where you're from?
Hi everyone, my name's Kamahi Djordon King. I'm coming to you from Jawoyn, Waddaman and Duggaman country in Katherine, Northern Territory. You may know me from some of my art projects or my alter ego character, Constantina Bush. And I'm a Wanyi man, a Gurindji man, and yeah, she's a Wanyi and Gurindji woman, I guess.
Yeah. So I've got a couple of questions for you, and thank you for joining us. And I do know it was a bit hard to get you on because we've got a time difference, but we got you here, which is the great thing. But where did you grow up? Tell us a little bit about where you grew up.
So I grew up here in Katherine, and like my dad used to do. He used to be a grader driver, and back in the old days, most of the communities had dirt roads, and we only have two seasons here, wet and dry, and both are hot. But after the wet season, the roads used to get carved up with the trucks going out on them. So Dad's job was to pretty much drive through and grader the road to make it smooth and safe for people to travel in their normal cars, so the big trucks weren't cutting it up when it was mud and stuff. And as a result, we used to go out to community all the time, and we'd be at Roper River, which used to be called Roper River. It's Nooka now, back to the original name of the area. And out there I picked up Creole, like speaking it with all the black fellas there. And yeah, so I ended up growing up in quite a few communities around Gimby as well, and wherever Dad was working on the roads. So did mostly primary school here, and sometimes School of the Air when we were out at Nooka.
Okay. Yeah. So did you end up finishing year 12 or?
I did.
Yep.
Yeah, I actually went. So sorry, when I was 12, I went to boarding school down in Adelaide. I went to a school called Marden High School, which is now an adult learning centre or something. It's just freaky how things changed. That was co-ed, so we had boys and girls there. There were 4 Aboriginal people in that school, and I actually got suspended for a couple of weeks for punching a white girl in the mouth that was calling me a boom. So back then, like that's what you put up with, like at school, and being only 4 of us blackfellas in the school meant we were up against it a lot. But I didn't care that she was a girl. She was bigger than me. She could have gave me a hiding because I was tiny in boarding school, But yeah, like I don't do that now. I just go home and dress up as Constantina Bush and then go back out looking for them if they're girls. Joke. But like I'm not really harping on that, because it was brilliant experience for me to go away to boarding school and see a big city and do all that. So I ended up coming back to Katherine for year 12 in 1989, and I was just I think 15, just turned 16 and finished year 12. Yeah, up here. And wow. So I ended up coming home, but then I ended up going away again because like I had a yearning, like for something else. I was working for the government in a government job, doing a traineeship, getting paid $150 a week. Back then that was a lot of money.
Yeah, but lots of money then.
Yeah. And like I thought, yeah, I got my life, mate. I'm going to work for the government like everyone else in my family did. And then somehow I ended up working for Australian Electoral Commission when I was 22. Yes. No, when I was 21. And then I went up to Darwin for the weekend. I was meant to come back to work, and my auntie, Josie Crawshaw, she said, hey, Yasmin's going to Perth to live. Do you think you could accompany her across and I'll pay for your ticket back? I said, oh, yeah, okay. So that weekend, I flew to Perth, and on Monday I rang my boss and said, can you write me a reference? I'm staying in Perth. And he did. He wrote me the best reference, and I got a job out of there. So I stayed in Perth for a while.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I loved it over there. It was sort of like, wasn't really out in the community. I was just went to work and home. I was a bit of a square. I didn't really, go clubbing all the time or anything like that. I preferred to be a homebody, and yes. And
so when did Constantina Bush become part of your life?
she came so much
Later?
more later. Yeah, she was actually she's been around now for 18 years. I reckon 2008 I started with her.
Yeah.
And yeah, and like, I mean, I when I went to Perth, I fell into performing arts with Michael Leslie there. So I did the Aboriginal Music Theatre training program before it went to WAPO and all that. And like, it was in 94. And then in 95, I went to NAISDA so we did a little musical there, had the lead role, at Perth. And it was in conjunction with Black Swan Theatre Company, and the late Andrew Ross, bless his soul, was in charge of it then. He just loved Blackfellas, and what we could do. So the year before Brand New Day had finished a successful tour of Australia. And it was out of that little course, the Aboriginal Music Theatre Training Program, where they got all the cast for it. So I went down for the next one. The play that we put on, I ended up getting the lead role. It was called Bloodlink, and it was like a version of Romeo and Juliet, a black version. So I played Romeo. And it was really good, and I got praised for my singing and panned for my acting.
Oh, yeah.
So I thought, from the critics, and I thought, well, stuff this, I got to go acting, and there was nothing else. So I'd already done that course, and NAISDA was there, and I said, look, if I come there, will I get acting? Well, it's a dance school, but we can pay for your acting tuition, and you'll get definitely acting. And I went there, and there was a mime teacher, and he's deadly, his name was Francois. And I was at NAISDA from 95 to 97. And I did like dance and that, but I didn't see myself as a dancer. I wanted to be an actor. And there was nothing around for us, so I ended up hearing that Michael was now expanding the Aboriginal Music Theatre training program into ACPA, which is the Aboriginal Centre for Performing Arts in Brisbane.
Yeah.
And it was a 3-year VTech recognised course. And I went, man, that's what I'm doing. I rang him up and he said, yeah, man, come, you can come. And I went there and I had recognised prior training learning as well. So what ended up happening was, I did the acting course. We had proper teachers, and because there was only a few of us, it was really concentrated and focused. So we learnt the proper technique of acting, like Stanislavski method acting. And I ended up doing, this is how dedicated I was. So we were on the 3rd floor, and beneath us on the 2nd floor was something called the Actors Workshop, run by Lynn Kidd and a man called Rob Doran. We used to see them all the time. They talked, hello, and friendly enough. And she said, come down and see what we do. And then one night I went down to see what they did. And I ended up looking, and she introduced me to Stella Adler and that way of acting and the method and theory. And I was like, this is, wow, it's better than emotional recall, which is you as an actor are recalling your own memories and that to make you, well, what if you haven't been sad? You know what I mean? And Stella Adler's method was actually creating memories for your character by some little rules you had to follow, some things you did, like line justification, all that. I found that so much more interesting and actually related to it more. So I ended up going after ACPA. ACPA went from 9 to 5. Yeah. I had a little dinner break, and then I went to the Actors Workshop from 7 to 11 at night, every night for 2 years.
Wow.
And Lynn actually gave me a scholarship. And so I went there, and I just love this woman. She I give her credit for a lot of the things that I've done. I ended up being more Shakespearean, which was great from ACPA.
Yeah.
We had the best of teachers there. Michael really had a vision for the course, and he was deadly. He was there as the director when I was there. I was one of the first graduates of ACPA. Elaine Crombie was there in my year. Stephen Oliver was there teaching us tap and stuff, and it was great just to be around like-minded blackfellas in this new school that just had so much potential to spit out, like, you know, the best of us, I guess.
So once you completed that, how hard was it to actually get a job?
Well, I'll tell you, it wasn't that hard for me in Brisbane, because what happened was the third year
Yep.
Of ACPA, we had to do auditions and go out and get auditioning experience. And every single thing I auditioned for, I actually got offered the role.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so I ended up doing Romeo and Juliet with Labot Theatre. And Michael said I could do it because I had the prior recognised training, but he also said, I'm going to let you and Elaine do this, because we got picked up for the Sunshine Club, which was Queensland Theatre Company. Wesley Enoch wrote it with Nick Enright, another late person, Nick Enright. And I did Romeo and Juliet with Sue Ryder. She was the director at Labot Theatre Company at the time, and she did it real black and white. And at the same time, Bell Shakespeare Company did a black and white version as well, and they had Ben Gratz as Romeo, Wayne Blair as Mercutio, and we had so they played the white family, or not the white family, they played the family opposite what we did, because we played Tybalt and you know, like Roxanne, she played you know, in the play The Master, Tybalt's uncle.
Oh yeah.
What's in Two Houses in Verona, the Montagues and the Capulets, yeah. So she played Capulet.
Oh.
And I know Juliet was Capulet, wasn't she? Oh, I can't even think. No, the Capulets are us, and no, we were the Montague.
You're the Montague.
I don't know. I'm so confused now. But yeah, so I ended up getting that, playing Tybalt, which was a real aggressive role. I fought with a dagger. It was modernized, so we had like fist fights and everything in there, and we had this deadly little choreographer called Scotty Witt. And he said to me, like, you have trained in dance? And I'm like, yeah. And he goes, I can tell, because you're getting these moves perfectly. And he goes, that's what it's all about. Fight choreography is dance. And I'm like, oh, wow. So I studied that a little bit then and did all the stunt stuff. But I ended up getting the Sunshine Club, which was with Queensland Theatre Company. And so just straight out of fresh, like hadn't even graduated yet, I was working professional jobs and touring. And Elaine Crombie was as well. She was in the Sunshine Club with me. And I ended up having, well, not a good experience with the director of that play, which was Wesley Enoch. And we didn't get along. You know, I hated working with him, actually. And it was like kind of bad, because it stopped me from acting after that. And for a long time, I didn't act. I did not act. And it was weird that I went to Romeo and Juliet in I moved to Melbourne, and I was doing art, my visual art. I concentrated on my visual art, paintings and stuff like that. And I went to Melbourne, and the Australian Shakespeare Company were holding auditions for Blow Me Down, Romeo and Juliet. So I auditioned, and they offered me the role of Tybalt. And it was again a black and white family, like so freaky. So the Australian company, Royal Shakespeare Company, Australian Shakespeare Company, sorry, I worked with them. I did Tybalt, and I'll tell you something freaky. So my dad's name was William King. And when I did Romeo and Juliet and I played Tybalt in Brisbane, he passed away. Like, and then the time that I did Romeo and Juliet in Melbourne, my brother named William King passed away. And so I was like, oh, bloody, you know, they reckon things come in threes. And I'm like, oh, well, lucky there's no more William Kings in my family. And then my brother has a baby boy and calls him William. So I can't ever play that role again. It has to be Juliet. It has to be Juliet next time. But yeah, so after that, I started getting the taste back to get into acting. So there was an 8-year gap. Between the last thing I did and that, like, and you know, like, don't get me wrong, I did commercials and things like that, you know, in between, and would do voiceover work for people and stuff like that. So I always had something going on, but it wasn't until 2008, you know, I was out by this time. I'd had a boyfriend, and recognized that I was gay and accepted that and loved myself for it and loved everyone else too. But I was helping out with Outblack, and Outblack is this deadly thing they put on like all the Melbourne mob, you know.
Yeah.
The GLBTIQA plus community, they put on Outblack, which is one night. I think it's in winter. Yeah, it was, because it was cool.
Yeah.
And it was a night where all the GLBTIQ plus mob got together and put on all the Aboriginal performers and that. And, it, you know, like Ronnie Johnson and them mob were the old mob that started it. And, you know, like it'd been going for so long that all these new mob were there. And I had no interest in bloody performing or anything like that. And this bloke, Brian Andy, who became the new convener of Outblack, I was there helping him put stuff together, and he reckoned to me, hey, I'm like, what? And he goes, you look all right in a dress. And I'm like, why? And he goes, somebody pulled out. Have you ever done drag before? And I said, no. And he goes, I said, but it's easy. It's just miming, isn't it? And he goes, no, you have to audition for me, you know? And I'm like, okay. And then I auditioned for him thinking I was deadly, you know? And he goes, nah, I've got to find someone else. I'm like, why? And he goes, because it's not just about miming, Kamahi. You don't have any of this, you know? And I was like, well, what if I sing live? And he's like, well, go on then. And I sang live, and he was like, wow, you know, let's do that. And so I ended up performing this first night, but I didn't have a name. I was just Kamahi in a dress. Didn't know how to put makeup on, scruffiest hair, but it was my own hair, long, really long curly hair. And it sort of garnered a bit of interest. So the next time I went on, and he's like, you need a name. And then I remembered, I've got one. And like, so 2 years before that, like I said, I was doing visual art and that, and Alexander Downer's office had a guest coming out, a special guest that they wanted a little painting for. And, you know, so I did this little painting, and then he wanted me to present it to her. And I was living with Kathy Freeman at the time, and she was the one that got invited. So went along and had to dress up nice, asked the guy where we were going in the car, the driver. He's like, I don't know, I'm being told corner by corner. And I'm like, why? He goes, because the security is really tight. And I'm like, why is it that tight? And he's like, don't you know who you're going to see? And I'm like, who is she? And he reckon, Condoleezza Rice. She's the US Secretary to State. And I'm like, Condoleezza Rice, US Secretary of State, Condoleezza, saying it over and over in my mind. And you know how Chinese whispers work. Yeah. Well, as it passed through all the personalities in my head, it changed. And by the time I got there, I'm like, here you go, sis, this is for you, you know. And because Freeman was a guest of honor, they rushed us up, and there was a line of people waiting to meet Condoleezza. But because I had the gift and we were there, they said, you know, quickly, we'll just introduce you to them. And then so anyway, I was talking to her, but while I was talking to her, my phone rang, and I was looking at this bloke in the audience, you know, and no, it didn't, sorry. Like, there was a guy in the audience while I was talking to her, and she's talking to Katherine Freeman anyway, so I was like looking at him, and I made, you know, like black flag hand signal, like, and he's like, what? And I said, who are you? What do you do? And he goes, I'm Luke Darcy, I'm captain of the Bulldogs. I reckon, oh yeah. And then I go, AFL or rugby? I didn't even know, look. And he's like, AFL. And I'm like, oh yeah, one of my friends used to play AFL, for like AFL, Chris Groom, his name is. And hey, look at this dog's here turning this computer around. Get off. And he goes, oh, Groomy, I haven't spoken to him for ages. You wouldn't happen to have his number. I said, I can do one better for you. And I rang him. I said, I got a blast from the past for you. And I put him on to Luke, and Luke's talking to him like really happy. What's your number? You know, taking it down on his phone. And then he goes, oh, I've got to go. And he gives me back the phone. And without me looking around to see why he's got to go, I'm like, oh, yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I just met him at this luncheon, you know, that for that UN ambassador, Constantina Bush. I said that. And everyone in the room just, you know, looking at me, and it went quiet, and I looked back like this, and right here, Condoleezza Rice there looking up at me, and I reckon, Bryce, I got to go away. And I didn't even apologize. I just walked away. and Katherine was so annoyed with me. She's giving me the dirtiest looks, you know, like from across the room. But and that's how I got the name Constantina Bush for that character. So I had it then. And then I went back to Outblack the next year and picked a few different songs to sing, and they gave me 2 slots. and they wanted more, so I did a third song, and then she just took off from there. People wanted more because at the time I was the only one singing. And I was the only one that started wearing the Aboriginal flag dress. You know, I made that up. My cousin Greg Phillips had Dina Starr, or whatever Dina her name was, and she had a pair of bathing suits. Sorry, a set of, what do you call it, one-piece bathing suit, and she'd sewn the Aboriginal flag onto that. So she had red bottom, yellow circle in the middle, and black up here. And she lent me that one night, and that was it. Then I started wearing that all the time, and then I became synonymous with that look. The Aboriginal flag dress was my iconic look, and was Constantina, sorry. And so everywhere I started getting people booking me, wanting to book, you know, and I was only charging things like back then, $500 was a lot of money to me. That was like 2 months rent sort of thing. Just like not even 2 weeks now. But yeah, so it was good.
And hopefully you charge a lot more money though now.
Oh, I do now. I do now. Yeah, I do. And I'm booked out like for NAIDOC week. Like I said, you know, people, sorry. And, you know, the thing is like being, Constantina Bush too, like being successful in that is not something I ever expected to happen. And, you know, like I have no interest really in bloody waxing or shaving my arms and shaving my bloody chest to jump into a dress and do all that and putting on makeup, or like I didn't know how. And I've learned things along the way to do it really fast and easy. Like I only clip now because I learned if you shave and you wax, you get ingrown hairs, and that's, you know, I'm pretty hairy, so I just clip. I just clip, and I got a trick I can use to actually make it look like I've got real boobs, and yeah, people are impressed with that and come up, try to poke them all the time. That's the thing, you know, when you're Constantina Bush, people know who you are. They feel like they know you, so they've got a familiarity with you. And growing up here in the bush and in a small town, I'm actually quite freaked out about crowds. You know, like I can perform to them, but I can't be in the mosh pit. So at the start of doing all this, I used to avoid going out and meeting people for photos and stuff like that. And then people started telling me, you better start doing it because like the people think you're a snob, you know, like, and I started doing it and it started to get me used to it, but I still can't go in the crowd. Like, you know, like if somebody really big comes to Australia, like Janet Jackson, I'll go to the concert, but I'll go late. So I avoid the rush of the crowd, and then I'll leave early, you know, I'll just see some of the things and then I'll leave before the end so I don't get caught up in that crowd because it freaks me out.
So I'm going to ask you a question. Do you like stage acting more than like being Constantina, or Constantina is just like life and her performance is it still a stage?
I'll be honest with you, because this kind of freaks people out and freaks me out a bit too. So there was a show that I was rehearsing with a 10-piece band in Darwin, and it was a Christmas show. I'd sung the songs that much that I knew them like sort of like Kamahi, you know, like me, sitting there dressed not like just me rehearsing with the band. When I dressed up as Constantina Bush and I went out on stage, I didn't know any of the fucking lyrics, like none of them. And I was forgetting lyrics all over the place. And like, and then I learned I have to be in Constantina's head and mind when I'm rehearsing a show. Otherwise, the information doesn't go through to her. So she is her own entity. I can't compare her with the theatre that I do because it's me doing it.
Different,
and her, when I jump into those heels, that red dress, you know, or the black, red and yellow dress or whatever, I become someone else. And like, for instance, last year I took out the Deadly Funny competition for NT, which means I'll probably be coming to Melbourne for the national competition. And Constantina will be doing it. I can't really tell you what I bloody said. So, you know, I've got to work a 5-minute, it has to be 5 minutes, AJ. I cannot go longer because that's the time you got to make everyone laugh. Now, Constantina, she's a storyteller, so she tells stories that are funny and they end up with a big bang at the end, you know? There's no time for that. That's one story.
Yeah.
So I've got to work out a new way to do this comedy and do it in such a way that she's going to remember when she goes on stage and not me.
Yeah.
If I write it for her, she's got to have. So the rehearsal process for me, and people might say, oh, that's bullshit, you know, like someone takes over, but she does. Because I can tell you now, in comedy, if I was up there and I had a heckler, I wouldn't know what to do. But her, she's just like, boom, you know, she just snaps back. She gets the show back on the road. She's really quick-witted. Like, and obviously she comes from me, but she has a permission that I don't give myself. As Blackfly, you're always worried about drawing attention to yourself. I've still got that, you know, because I grew up in that era when mum and dad were like, it was about compliance. Don't draw attention to yourself. Make sure you got $5 in your pocket if you're going out, like all that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
So as a result, respect the police, answer them when they're thinking. You don't have to, but you had to. Otherwise, you'd get slammed up against the thing, tape chucked in the back, dropped out fucking 3 kilometers out of town to walk back or something.
Yeah.
Used to happen to all my mates who were cheeky and that, but me, I used to just comply. Hey, sir, blah, 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 whatever, and then just get home and tell mum, yeah. But yeah, they came from that era when people were complying with things. That's what makes me weak. So Constantina, most of my material for her show, any of her shows, is always about whatever the current Aboriginal climate is in regards to Australia and racism and stuff like that. And my way of getting messages across is to do it with song, comedy and dance. So I slap them on the cheek and kiss them on the other one. You know what I mean? Yeah. So they love her. They love, you're clever, you know, because I bloody listened to you, and I've heard people say that a million times, whatever. But when you said it and you did it with the comedy and the song, and, you know, you just deliver your messages quite well. And I'm like, okay, I'll tell her next time I see her. But, you know, obviously me and her are never in the same room together.
Yeah. Have you ever had anyone, like after the show, after Constantina's been on, you've got changed and then people don't know it's you and have said things like?
All the time. My hair is white.
Yeah.
Constantina wears a brown long wig. It's real human hair, so it actually looks real.
Yeah.
It's got beautiful lace at the front, so it looks like it's my own hair. Now, she's 10 years younger than me, and what I've done is I'm 2nd 11/72. She's 11th of the 2nd 82.
82, yep.
So she's an Aquarius, and I'm a Scorpio. So
yeah.
The difference with us, I actually absolutely take the makeup off. I come out and I wear really blokey clothes. Like, so when I come out from after a show, people are like, you can see they're sort of looking past me, still waiting for Constantina to come out or whatever. Yeah. So what I do now, because I'm over that fear of going into the crowd or whatever, I come out for photos quickly after the show, go back, get changed, come out and join like, you know, if it's opening night, I'll mill around with a wine and people are talking about the show in front of me, ask, what did you think? And I'm like, I thought it was good. So it's like that.
No idea that you were just up there.
Yeah, that they have no idea. Yeah, and it's funny because, I mean, admittedly too, like she looks like a giant when she comes out. Like people, because of the aesthetics, I can actually look like in a photo shoot like a petite little girl. Like,
so how tall are you?
I'm 6'3". Okay. Without heels or anything like that. So she's like nearly 7 foot when I come out in the heels and boots.
I've seen some of those heels.
Yeah. So she, it's really interesting because I think there's a big difference between us, but people that know me and they know her, or that know me well and have come and seen a show is like, I can't believe the difference between you. You know, like she's proper, like got all this confidence and she commands a room, and like you do too, but like in such a different way. Like, yeah. A question: how did you learn to dance in those shoes? I don't really.
They wouldn't have taught you that at dancing school.
No. So I basically, you know, had really good role models around me, like people like Foxy Empire, which is Jason DeSantis up in Darwin. Used to lend me shoes and stuff when I first started out because I never had anything, you know. And so like as a result, I just walked in them. I didn't really dance in them because that's what the Bushettes were for. So we became Constantina Bush and the Bushettes. So we used to do a lot of disco, funky dancing, you know, proper upbeat songs. The Bushettes would do all the dancing for me, and I would just sing in the middle and then join them for little dance breaks in the chorus, and that was it. We had a little show worked out where it was the best thing to do, because I couldn't dance and sing at the same time. It was more about the singing rather than the dancing in the heels. But you know, I wouldn't go all out in the dance breaks either, because I did snap one of these lovely pair of heels and he ripped me too. So yeah,
you wouldn't have been popular then.
No, he never lent me anything after that.
Yeah. And you do a lot of other artwork as well.
Mm-hmm.
So tell us a little bit about the other artwork that you do.
So when I was 15, like my family, my brothers and that, William, the eldest, was a really, really good drawer. He used to actually draw portraiture and stuff like that. And one day I, you know, come across like painting, and my grandfather used to do paintings and stuff like that, real proper, like that old style, you know, like X-ray animals and stuff like that. And I started painting and getting into art, and then I went to, when I was in Perth, Shane Pickett was there, like late Shane Pickett, goodness. And I worked in the shop with him, and it was called Artist in Residence, and it was an Aboriginal art gallery in the middle of Murray Street or Hay Street, one of them. Yeah. And Jada, Sally Morgan's niece.
Yes.
Yeah, she worked there as well. What's her surname?
My brain's not working.
Yeah.
Just let the audience know today, it's 45 degrees heat. It's kind of in Melbourne. My brain is actually not working. So, yeah.
See, I'm up in the hot country, but we're 30 degrees here today. So
I know, it's weird.
It's absolutely beautiful outside too. Like this for me is cool. So, but yeah. So she worked there as well. And Milroy, eh? Jada Milroy.
Jada Milroy,
Yeah. So yeah, she worked there at that little shop as well. And it's funny because me and her ended up in that Michael Leslie course there, which threw us on our way. She became a playwright and I became an actor.
Yeah.
And but yeah, so what was that all about? Art. So what happened was, like, when I sold my first art piece, I was 19, and then I started considering myself to be an artist because people wanted more. Yeah. And I love colors. I work with what do you call it? Shapes and stuff like that, rather than you know, it's all about optical illusion and that. And I love sculpture. So I'm just, is he dry enough to pick up? So I've got this little camp dog here, which I've just worked on. If you have a look, he's got little ball bags and stuff like that. Yeah. So he's anatomically correct. He's got a little black collar on. His eyes I've painted over because I will scrape them away, but they're blue underneath there. His nose will be black. His tongue will be pink. His teeth will be white. So, and he's going to somebody's home already. He's been booked and sold, and yeah. So that's the sort of thing that I like working on. We have magpie geese up here which come every wet season and they pig out on the mangoes. So I'm going to be making a few of those out of this wire and paper and see how it go. Buffalo, pig, whoever like is up here, all the NT animals. Yeah. And see how I go with that.
Yeah. So what's your plans for the next 5 years or so?
Well,
what to do?
I would like to retire within those years and then just travel around looking at things. And when I say retire, I'll still be available to translate and do all that sort of stuff. Like, so that's what I do. I work as an Aboriginal interpreter here at the Aboriginal Interpreter Service. I was working at the hospital. I'm now working at the courthouse, going to Bush Court tomorrow at Barunga, which is a community just out. Sorry, this torch is on now. I can't seem to get anything right here with this. I just upgraded the iOS and it's...
Oh, yes. Mine upgraded the other day too, and then I couldn't find things anymore.
Yeah.
Where the hell's the light gone? Where's the
yeah. And that's it now. It's off. Yeah, what was on about?
Oh, we were talking about, you were telling me about the Bush Court.
Oh, yeah. So I've got Bush Court tomorrow. And what I do is, like, a lot of documents that come through from the government need to be interpreted and translate it into a language from up here. And that's what I do. I'll do that. It pays good money. So if I retire and even one of those jobs come through a month, I'm pretty much able to live off that. But I do have a little bit of a savings plan and stuff like that to back up on as well. So, and when I say retire, I mean from 9 to 5 work, not the art. That is still going to be making me money. I'm still going to be doing that. I've got a big kiln out there that's 2 years old. I've never fired it up because you need 3-phase, and I'm in a rental at the moment. So when I get my property out here and I move out there, I'm going to put that kiln on and get that pottery wheel back from my friend and start making all my shit.
Yeah. I only got a couple of final questions for you, just because we haven't got time. And the one is that if there's a lot of young people want to get into the industry, where would you suggest they start? If they came to you and said, hey, I don't know where to even start, what would you recommend?
I would recommend somewhere like Aboriginal Centre for Performing Arts. I believe it's still going strong. I would send them there if they haven't been exposed to acting, but if they have been exposed to acting and they really want to get into it, then go to one of the schools like ACPA, like WAPA or NIDA, or try to get in there and thing. But the reason I would recommend ACPA, because if you're listening to this podcast, then the more likelihood of you being Aboriginal is quite strong. So you would rather be around your own people and peers and stuff like that, then ACPA is the way to go. If you feel a bit more comfortable out in the mainstream, I would try the mainstream areas, but ACPA is just as good. Like the VTech recognized training we did was the same course as NIDA pretty much. But like why I would say ACPA, if you are serious about it as well, is that with less people in the school doing that course, because just say they take 30 kids, they have singing, dancing and acting. And if you're in the acting, there's only 10 of you in that class with that teacher. Whereas if you go NIDA, that's all about acting. You're going to be scrambling and you're going to have to take tutorage outside, which is what I did anyway. But, you know, it's a different ball game. I think if you're young, and you're getting into it, ACPA's the place to go.
Yeah. Is there any young actors that we should be looking out for that you would recommend people to actually have a look at his work or have a look at her work?
Look, there's a few, they're younger than me, but like Robbie Collins, Mark Cole-Smith, they're up and comers, and they're just not up and comers. They're actually established now, and they're really good. You can see their work on TV, the cinema, whatever. The girls, I reckon, I like Shari when she's in stuff. She's deadly.
Yeah.
Shari Seven, sorry. Who else? Natasha Wanganeen's getting a lot of work at the moment. She's a brilliant little actress. She won an AFI at 17. So she's someone to look out for, her stuff. And she's really staunch and political where Aboriginal people are concerned as well. She's not afraid to stand up for what's right and take the shit that comes along with doing that. And I think she's just brilliant for that. Newcomers. I don't know. Constantina Bush? No,
Yeah. Is she up for any awards this year?
Well, she might win the Deadly Funnies if, everything goes to plan.
Yeah. And if she's funny.
Yeah. If she's funny in 5 minutes. Yeah.
Yeah. That can be the name of the show. If she's funny.
Yeah. If she's funny, and have people say it after everything. No.
Look, I want to say thank you for joining me today, but the last question I always end off with is, what would you like people to walk away with from our yarn this afternoon?
I think, there's a lot of options in performing arts. It can be hard, but if you stick at it, and you got to recognize opportunity when it knocks. And I'll be honest here, but luck is when preparation meets opportunity. So you still need to be prepared. Don't just think things are going to come along for you. Work hard for what you want, and it will come. And then that way you have the choice to do things. I've been offered things that I've said no to. I've been offered things that have been taken away from me, not at my own thing. And I've worked with people I don't like working with. And I've worked with a lot of people that I do love working with. And that's what you're going to find in this industry. But you, at the end of the day, are responsible for your feelings and how you let things affect you. So that's what, don't personalize anything when people say something. Take criticism. The only way you're going to get better is if you do. Don't think of yourself being at the top, because if you're at the top, you're not going to go any better, you know? So you think you're there already. You're not. You never are. You always got something to learn. And that's what I want you to take away.
Cool. Thank you. Hey, look, I want to say, you know how much I love the work that you do, and please keep doing what you do.
Thank you.
You make people smile. You make people laugh.
And, good.
You know, that black Aboriginal dress is going to be a collector's item, and I'm sure it's going to appear when they move out the Kylie Minogue collection at the Art Centre. We'll actually have Constantina's wardrobe put in there.
Don't make me weak, because I made all those myself.
Well, I reckon they could be in there. I reckon there should be a collection in there of the outfits.
Oh, cool. That's so funny. Yeah. All right, then.
Okay, guys, I want to say thank you for coming, and thank my special guest. So I'll see you guys in the next podcast. Bye.
See you, my